Got Dave Rubin on Jubilee. It's apparently they take a conservative and surround them with 20 or so, or maybe a dozen deranged, uninformed left wing lunatics, and then put some dubious fact checks on the side of the screen and some attempt to do a gotcha on the conservatives. So this should be fun. Hey there. Just want to take a minute before we get too far to introduce you to some of the staff around here. This is Nugget. This is my producer. And I promised Nugget that if we get to 1,000 subscribers, that she would get a spa day. That means getting her hair done, her nails done, get her teeth done. And Nugget would love nothing more. She is looking forward to that. But we have to get to 1,000 subscribers first. So if you could, please just hit that button down below. Says subscribe on it. That would help Nugget get one. Each one of you doing it is one step closer to her getting that spa day. And honestly, a lot of you are already subscribed to this guy.
It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
So, I mean, you know, if you can subscribe to him, surely you could subscribe to Nugget. So, do us a favor, hit that button, and all right, let's get to it. Dave Rubin. So, I'm just gonna do the his last little one because it's the one I found most entertaining.
In were you and you, so this is a complete toss-up with the two of you. But I actually think our conversation was the most interesting, and I think there's the most room to try to get something on the other side of this. So I'd love to bring you back up.
Yeah. You know, it's always the same people too. It's always the same lefties. That one chick with the septum ring, she's like, I guess she's in a clapping competition for who can clap hardest for the dude in the dress.
My surrounded claim is trans rights are human rights. One of
Human rights are human rights.
the first initiatives of Donald Trump in this current presidency,
It's like saying like bipolar rights are human rights. I mean, if you got bipolar, you're still qualified for human rights, but it's a mental illness. And you should still be treated for it appropriately.
put forth an executive order essentially attempting to ban gender-affirming healthcare.
Maybe. This dude's name is, he's calling himself Maybe. As in maybe, maybe he's a dude now. His name should be certain.
For people under 19 years of age.
Yeah.
And when we say under 19 years of age, this also includes adults who are 18 years old, who are old enough to go off and die in a war for oil, imperialism in Israel, but they can't make their own healthcare decisions.
All right, so let's read this fact check real quick before they take it away. President Trump issued executive order protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. Sounds based. Which defines a child as anyone under 19 and directs the federal government to not to fund, sponsor, promote, assist, or support gender-affirming medical treatment for people under 19, including puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries, while instructing agencies like HHS and DoD to change coverage and funding rules accordingly. I don't see a problem with that. You know, it's I think you're pretty sick and twisted if you want our kids to be experimented on.
Okay, let's do this. I love how you guys have to get Israel into this thing. It's like Israel is the one place in the Middle East that you could go and you would be celebrated.
I couldn't get married there.
That's actually the truth.
Oh my God.
Yes, they are not perfect.
You could probably, if you just, you know, don't be weird, crazy.
Than no country is, but you would be treated equally and with respect, and they have the biggest LGBT pride parade. It's coming up in 2 weeks. You should probably go. You might find it quite interesting. Anyway, as far as the claim, I 100% believe that trans rights are human rights, or that trans people should be treated equally under the law, 100%. Now, so what your claim is about people that are under, let's say, 19, right? Mm-hmm. Now, that's a different thing. If you are...
Here's the thing. I, as a non-trans, you know, normal person, I'm not allowed to cut my kid's dick off. I'm not allowed to mutilate my kids. I'm not allowed to talk them into doing horrible things to their bodies, because they're children, and children are easily manipulated. But that's why people like this dude in the dress, they love to go after our children, because they are easy to be manipulated. And if you pay attention to, it's like, you ever notice those moms that, they always have their kids like, tell mommy I'm pretty. Tell me I'm pretty. Tell mommy I'm pretty. That's because like they're psychopaths that need constant affirmations. And I mean, that's the homeboy up here in the dress is clearly one of those people. And so if they can manipulate children into believing they have the same situation, we'll call it, then that in the tranny mind, that affirms their delusions.
Going to chemically castrate a kid, or if you are going to give them hormone blockers or a series of other things when they are 5, 6, 7, 12, when they're in the middle of what? Wait,
that's not happening.
Wait. It is happening. It is happening. Or if you are going to literally have schools where they are calling a child by a different gender and a different name without alerting the parents, et cetera, et cetera. These things are happening. Then I am not for that. But, however, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 39.
Can I ask a lady?
I'm 39 and a half.
I'll even use your pronouns, because as long as you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect.
I'm 39 and a half. I'll be 40 this summer.
All right, great.
39 and a half.
Wait, so let me...
That's not something adults say. Adults don't say, I'm 39 and a half. Needy, delusional fucking children will say shit like that. Children that are locked in the body of a man in a dress.
Say something. So I want you to be treated under the law with 100% equality. Every single thing that I and everyone else in this country should be treated to, which is equality of opportunity and equality under law, you should be treated. I'm not that interested in talking about my sexuality. It's actually a very unimportant part of my life in a weird way. And maybe that's because I'll be 50 next month. And as time goes by, you realize you just are who you are, and you do the best you can in the world, right? But I understand feeling. I grew up in a time when there was no gay marriage, and when I was a kid, for however confused I was or anything else, there was I never thought about the future because it wasn't even a thing. Like, there was literally no future. And then magic happened over time, and we got equal rights. I have been married for, God, it's a long time now. I've been married for about 13 years. My husband and I have been together for 15 years. We're in a 100% monogamous relationship. We have 2 of the most incredible kids who I want to grow up with the most amount of respect and love, and who are safe and cherished, and all of the...
Remember, like, back when, like, if you're my age or older, you'll remember before gay marriage was legalized, and they, those of us that were, fighting for that to happen, the people on the right, because I was on the left at the time, the people on the right their argument would be, well, one of their arguments would be, it's a slippery slope. You let them get married, and what's next? They're going to want to adopt kids. No, they're not. They're not going to want to adopt kids, is what the left said. The other argument was that they're gonna start, like, making children transition into different sexes. No, that sort of thing isn't going to happen. There has been a slow progression. Actually, it hasn't been that slow, because when you think about it, 2008 was not that long ago. So it was a pretty quick progression from, we just want the same privileges as you, to now you have to do everything according to what we want.
Those wonderful things, as I hope, if you want, you will get in your life too. The reason I mention that is because the difference between equal rights for everybody, versus what you might do to a child are very different things. If there is a child who I suspect, when you were a young kid, how old were you when you thought you were in the...
I was 5. I was 5 years old when I realized that I was a trans person.
Okay.
Nobody knows anything about their sexuality.
I can accept that.
I also asked how old you were when you realized that you were gay.
I mean, I came out very late for a series of other reasons.
And are you still gay?
Only after 10 p.m., so I don't know what time it is right now.
Okay.
Oh, look, I made him laugh. There you go.
I think...
Wait, I'm not... Wait, hold on. I'm really...
Continue.
I think I'm granting you an awful lot here. The only thing that I would say related to a 5-year-old who is having gender dysphoria, or whatever term you want to apply it to, is that you should wait until the child can make those decisions properly for themselves. That your brain at 5 was not developed enough to do it. And there was so much social pressure over the last couple of years to trans kids. Abigail Schreier wrote an incredible book about this, that a certain amount of it is a social contagion. That is true. That is empirically true. I'm not saying it was you, right? I'm not. I'm friends with Blair White. I believe that Blair was biologically a male and believes that she, and I will call her she because she treats me with respect and I'll treat her with respect, that she transitioned when the time was right. The issue for most people on the right is about the kids. I can tell you this, it's funny because a lot of you tried to use my sexuality against me. Yeah, I'll get there. Listen, a lot of you tried to use my sexuality against me, and I can tell, and it's interesting because
it is the kids is that's a big one, but it's also the lies. Like we're not. You're dictating to us lies that you want us to repeat. You're telling us that we have to either believe your lie or we have to, at the very least, support your lie and lie to you and tell you, oh, yes, you're a woman. Yeah, you're a woman. No. See, you can't make us lie. That's where equal rights, you have the right to anything that I have the right to. We all have equal rights. Like, I don't have rights that you don't have. You don't have rights that I don't have. But it's when you start acting like you do, like you're entitled to things that you're not entitled to. You're not entitled to other people's brains, other people's opinions, and other people's words. You're not, Like, there's no law in the books that says, like, I can't, be honest with you about who you are from any normal worldview. There's no law against you calling me a fat, bald, ugly son of a bitch either. It just is what it is.
you guys also think sexuality is very important, right? So you would think I would have been afforded, as someone that travels in circles that you guys don't. I go to Republican things, and I have to traverse that a little bit, and it can be tricky at times. But I've shown Republicans that you can be a decent human being who can have a family and be monogamous. That job.
Dave, I really appreciate you being kind. We're less than 5 now, and I have not really had a moment to speak.
She's like, yeah, that's nice, but I want to talk. I don't care about anything but what I have to say.
Yeah. So again, I'm just making the point between children and adults. I want you to have.
And that's exactly what I'm going to respond to right now.
Enough.
I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate you not misgendering me.
Yeah.
I appreciate you treating me like I'm.
First of all, misgendering. I mean, it's misgendering to call you a woman, especially when there isn't a single feminine thing about you, from your Adam's apple to your dick. There is nothing feminine about you. So misgendering would be calling you a woman. You're a man in a wig and a dress.
Just a regular human being. And that's what trans people are. We are just regular human beings with the same struggle.
Regular human beings. We're not taking our terms seriously. We're not, because furries aren't regular human beings. You're not a regular human being. Okay? If you take, there is a norm, there are normative things, and there is what is regular and what is not. You're on the not part.
Trying to get through this life, actually more struggles, because we have this whole group of people who want to take away our rights.
Sure.
Listen, I know that sounds harsh. I know it sounds harsh that I said that, and I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I'm not, actually. But I believe in facts. I believe in objective truth and logical conclusions, okay? And objectively, this is a dude. Plain and simple. The fact that it was born a dude and he is pretending and wants everybody in the world to believe that he is anything but that is narcissistic, it's insane, and it's not healthy for society. It's not. If you follow it to its logical conclusion, it's not natural. It doesn't exist in nature. It doesn't. If he cannot give birth, plain and simple.
Somebody who's been an
So,
elected.
so can you
let
just tell
finish,
me what right?
Let me speak.
But what right?
Yes,
I'm just asking. What
I'm
right as an
saying it
adult?
right now, as
Yeah.
somebody who's been an elected official in Los Angeles since 2019, every single year I've seen more and more and more anti-LGBTQIA bills moving across the federal legislature and across state legislatures all across the U.S. And when I say anti-LGBTQIA bills, what I actually mean is anti-trans bills. Bills that are trying to limit our existence in society. Bills that are trying to limit how we can receive healthcare, how we can make our own autonomous healthcare decisions, how we can even participate in going to the bathroom. We all have.
This is how selfish these people are too. Like, first of all, most of these where they're talking about healthcare is they're bills that would allow you to mutilate and manipulate children. Second of all, like you don't have the right to somebody else's space. Like, you as a man do not have access or right to a woman's space. And I'm sure plenty of these nut jobs out there in the Jubilee crowd, Miss Whatever with the clap, would not be at all concerned about someone like you, lumbering into the fucking ladies' room. But I have daughters. I have a daughter, and I know plenty of people that do. And there's a lot of us, and we don't want you coming into the restroom when they're in there. We don't. I don't care what you're telling me you would do or not do, or how innocent you are. I don't want anything like you anywhere near my daughter. I just don't. I don't like crazy people around my kids, for one thing. But when you put it in a vulnerable spot like a fucking restroom, and then you're gonna cry about it, you're gonna act like it's discrimination. No, you're not a protected class. Insane is not a protected class.
Have to take a shit, and that is something we should be able to do freely and privately without somebody recording us in the bathroom and trying to make us go viral and make it seem like we are the predators.
Pushing back.
Now, you describe this idea of 5-year-olds being chemically castrated. Here's the thing. You cannot compare a 5-year-old who is going to perhaps socially transition and wants to go by a name that is opposite of the gender they were assigned at birth, or want to wear clothes that are different. 5-year-olds are not receiving any sort of medical transition. And so you say that they should wait. And that's true. And that's exactly why puberty blockers are prescribed to teenagers that are about to go through puberty. And here's the issue.
How old is that, would you say?
I would say anywhere from probably maybe like 10, 11, 12.
Right.
And here's the thing.
But do you think their
puberty
brains are
blockers
developed
have
enough
been,
to know the full?
Yes, I do.
The full
This dude thinks that a 10-year-old's brain is developed enough to start taking puberty blockers, which to be chemically castrated. They think that a 10-year-old is old enough to make that decision for themselves. I have an 11-year-old, just turned 11. Like, there's no fucking way. I wouldn't trust him to decide how much Tylenol is appropriate, let alone, like, here's this drug that can alter your life permanently. But people like this, they don't have kids. They don't have parenting instincts. All they care about the kids is how they can use that kid and manipulate that kid, and a lot of these cases groom that kid. It's just this weird prop, this weird tool. It's what we have the most trouble with here.
Ramifications of what they're doing.
Yes,
a 10-year-old?
because puberty blockers have been around for over 30 years. They've been prescribed to kids who are experiencing precocious puberty. And yet this has never been an issue for the right. It is only an issue for the right when somebody
it's
decides,
being misused.
I'm trans. And
you know what? Opioids were never an issue for the right either until they started getting abused and misused. That's how it works. I mean, if you're using these things in the intended context, and we don't have a problem with it. It's when you're using it to I don't know, like, just completely change a child for whatever ego trip you have. That's when we have a problem.
And they, together with their family and their physicians, want to make that decision. So they're not getting surgery at 10 years old. They're taking puberty blockers to make that decision over time with their family and their physicians. There is no reason why you or the President of the United States should be able to decide what is right for somebody's health care, for an individual, for somebody else's child, unless you are their doctor or their parent.
Okay, so listen.
This is why society is falling apart. This is why we have drug addicts living on the street. You know, why we have drug addiction is so out of control. Why kids are so violent. Why there's so many problems, because people like this don't understand societal cohesion. Like, you know, that, you know, we work together, and, you know, if somebody's not protecting their kids, or they're putting their kids in harm, somebody has to step in. And doctors, not every doctor, probably not even most doctors, but there are doctors out there that they don't give a shit about the kids' well-being. They care about money that they make from those hormone blockers. They care about money that they make from surgeries, and they make a career out of it. They don't care. They're heartless people, just like there's abortion doctors. You think those abortion doctors care that they're killing a baby? They don't. So you can't just be like, well, it's a decision that has to be made between a parent and their kids. Well, not when the parent's fucked up and you know, addicted to TikTok, and they just want to be able to parade their trainee kid around, and not doctors that only care about money.
I have a couple fundamental disagreements with that when it comes to minors, but the issue is about trans rights or human rights. So we can
Trans people are disproportionately
Yeah.
unhoused, disproportionately
Yeah.
experience housing discrimination.
Listen, but
Yes, you're homeless because you're mentally ill. That most people that you look at that are on the street, like 99% of them are there because they're mentally ill.
Healthcare discrimination.
Again, if you
on the books,
told me, wait,
we
hold on.
are legal.
Hold on.
We are actually
Hold on.
experiencing discrimination every single
okay,
day in
you know-
every realm of society.
Yeah, you know, I've experienced discrimination. I'm going to guess almost everyone here in some way has something that they've been discriminated against or judged upon or something else. What you have in America is equality under the law, and you have an opportunity
We
to
don't when
so what-
Republicans are
hold
trying to
on.
legislate.
Yes, you do. You not getting everything that you want is not you being discriminated against.
against us.
But tell me, so you as an adult, what law is stopping you from doing anything that another person cannot do, that literally anyone in this room cannot do?
See, this is the thing: is you were trying to hide behind
So
this
he's not
idea
gonna
of
answer
the
that.
law.
No,
So he's not going to answer that. That's where rights are enforced, dumbass. When you say that you don't have the same rights, those rights would be enforced by the law. So if you don't have an answer to Dave's question about, you know, what laws are not in your favor too?
but I mean that.
But
I
the
mean,
reality is laws are not protecting trans people. If they were, trans people would not
You guys
be
are so
disproportionately
fucking baby.
unemployed,
You guys are so fucking baby. You know how many people are gonna complain about this video that I'm making just because I use direct, candid language, just because I'm honest, just because I make honest statements? You know how many people are gonna complain and try to, you know, cancel me, try to shut me down, and are going to be in my comments calling me all kinds of things? You guys are the most babied group now, to the point where other groups, other marginalized groups are really turning against you because you're stealing their victim thunder.
the law can guarantee equality. It can't guarantee protection, right? So
yes, it certainly can.
So what would you like the law to do
No, it
for
certainly
you?
can't.
I would like the law to protect trans people, and it's not the law. Our legislators are actively legislating against us.
Again, if there was a
He's
law,
just talking in
if you can
circles.
point me to a law that was discriminating against trans adults, they
Yeah.
can't get a job, they can't whatever, then of
I
course
just
I
did
would
at the
not be-
beginning of this debate.
Which-
Donald Trump is trying to ban gender-affirming health care for people
No,
who are 18
for-
years
You're talking
old.
about
Yeah, for
minors.
kids.
You're talking about minors. I think
18-year-olds aren't minors.
you're
They
you're-
can go off and die in a war, but for some reason they can't make their own autonomous healthcare decisions
They
according to
can't buy
Donald Trump.
alcohol either.
Okay, listen, when we're talking about young people,
Why do you,
it's a different.
I always want to ask these people, why do you want teenagers, children to be mutilated? Why? What is it about that is so important to you that you need children to get the wrong kind of treatment, basically, instead of getting mental help? Is it because you didn't get the mental help and so you don't want them to? I would love to have that conversation
Different thing.
instead of this bullshit about rights that don't exist.
Yeah,
just-
exactly. And these are not
it's
your
just-
young people. They're
it's
not
just-
his young people. These are no 5-year-old is walking into a medical office and getting puberty blockers without the consent of their parent or their.
But you don't think there's any element of
So did you see how he just moved that goalpost from earlier? He said like no 5-year-olds were doing this, and then now what he's saying is
blockers without the consent. 5-year-old is walking.
It's
Yeah,
just-
exactly. And these are
it's
not your
just-
young people. They're
it's
not
just-
his young people. These are no 5-year-old is walking into a medical office and getting puberty blockers without the consent of their parent or their.
But you don't think there's any element of social.
so, yeah. Now basically he's admitting that it is happening to 5-year-olds. It's just their shitty fucking parents that are doing it to them.
Contagion over the last 10 years? to
I
this
don't.
stuff?
And even if there is, that's
I would
that's
re-
okay because there's nothing wrong with being trans. And if somebody decides to detransition, that.
Is there nothing wrong with being trans? Because it seems like it's causing this dude a lot of problems. It seems like this dude is struggling in ways that he wouldn't had he not adopted that lifestyle.
That's okay, but they can't tell everybody else that they're not allowed to transition.
Again, I think we're sort of splitting hairs on this, that we're agreeing to disagree on, perhaps we're agreeing to disagree on the underage portion of it. But again, as an
How many
adult,
times have you seen people on the right make fun of trans people because, especially trans women, because they look like a man?
But
Well, you know,
But you're allowed
you know
to
what
make
prevents
fun of
them by
people.
allowing
Yes,
them to go through
you're allowed to-
puberty
you're
blockers
allowed to make
and
fun
to
of
make
us
their own
too,
autonomous
buddy.
healthcare decisions.
yeah, but okay, so have we whittled this down to some people make jokes about people? They make jokes about people.
They're not just joking. They're trying to legislate against our very
but
existence.
again, if you-
your friend Michael Knowles at
Yeah.
CPAC said that we need
Again.
to eradicate transgenderism in
Oh, dude.
society. That
Right.
is a direct.
He didn't say that we needed to eradicate you, the individuals, or the mentally infirmed. He said he's talking about the ideology. Instead of like letting you guys run wild, and because we did that, and then you came after our kids. What he's talking about is reining that back in. Not doing anything to you personally, but definitely protecting the rest of us.
direct threat to me, my neighbors, my friends, and family.
Okay, I promise you this. If Michael Knowles or anyone else starts pushing for legislation that will jail you or stop you from getting a job or any of the other freedoms that we all enjoy, I promise you I will be on your side of that. So,
Well, I can't wait to be on your show soon.
all right, then there we go.
Thanks for
All right,
chatting, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty painful to watch, but anyway, like I said, they're the most babied, overprotected group of people these days. So I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of hate in the comments, but I'm just being honest, folks. I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, these are facts. You guys can play make-believe in your own homes. I don't care. Just like the sovereign citizen people and any other kind of nut job. You can play those games at home. It's fine. But when you're out here and it's affecting the rest of us in society, and you expect us to change our habits and our behaviors in order to make you feel better about your weird, crazy decisions, it's just not going to happen. We're going to continue to push back because we're sick of it. But as far as individual people go, if you're not an asshole, I don't care. I'll walk by that dude on the street. If he's wearing a dress, that's fine. I'm not going to say anything to him. I'm not going to hurt him. I'm not going to try to hurt his feelings or anything. It's the ideology, the political side of it that I can't just sit here and shut my mouth about. So anyway, let me know what you think. If you have any other ideas for any other content, put it in the comments. I'm taking suggestions. Otherwise, you have just a peachy, wonderful little day.